you can guarantee that you will become a millionaire. Some of the smartest lessons I've learned didn't come from boardrooms. They come from watching people grind it out in unglamorous jobs and build real wealth slowly. This is everything I've learned from them about how to become wealthy the boring way. People are going to try to tell you that starting a startup and raising millions of dollars is the best path to wealth. That is total BS. There's a quote from Naval Ravikant that hits the nail on the head. Learn to sell, learn to build. If you can do both, you will be unstoppable. But here's what nobody says. Sometimes build doesn't mean code. It means drywall. It means plumbing. It means HVAC. These are skills that can't be outsourced to the cloud, and they compound just like software. The real wealth comes when you start turning that skill into a system, a repeatable service business with pricing power, brand, and local trust. The trades don't just give you income, they give you optionality. You can subcontract, hire, franchise, scale. That's what most people miss. They chase shiny startups while ignoring the boring businesses that quietly print cash every month. Here's the move. Pick one trade or hands-on service and go deep. Think appliance repair, high-end home painting, septic maintenance. Take one course, shadow a pro, get certified. You don't need a pitch deck. You need a skill people hate doing themselves. Build something boring and watch it become your unfair advantage. Once you have a valuable skill, the next step in your success will be starting a business. And if you think starting a business is risky, think again. Let's say you build a small business that earns $500,000 a year in EBITDA. That business, nothing crazy, maybe a home service or e-commerce brand, could be worth $2 million or more if you decided to sell it. Now here's the kicker. While you're running it, that same business might also pay you a few $100,000 a year in salary or distributions. That's what I call the exit juice. It's the payoff most people never factor in when they compare a job to business ownership. And here's the truth. Most millionaires didn't get rich off of stocks or crypto. They got there by owning something small that cash flowed and then multiplied their net worth through the exit. Even if you're an employee now, developing that lens is the first step toward eventually building something of your own or spotting a great acquisition. This is how you escape trading time for money. The best way to validate a business idea is to make a little money with it consistently. Start by solving one clear problem for a specific customer. Charge for it, improve it, do it again. That's the path from a side hustle to a cash flowing asset. You don't need venture capital. You need something boring that works. But there's a problem with starting a business. Sometimes you can get rewarded for making the wrong decision. Let me tell you about one of the first hustles I ever ran. Back when laptops didn't come with built-in Wi-Fi, I found a supplier for wireless adapter cards and started flipping them on eBay. At first, the margins were great. I'd buy for cheap, sell for about $35 and keep the spread. But within a few months, other sellers flooded the market. Prices dropped and suddenly it wasn't worth the time. The hustle dried up. At the time, I thought I had a business, but looking back, it was a scheme, not a system. And the same thing is still happening today. Whether it's YouTube faceless channel arbitrage, low effort agency models, or trendy side gigs, they work until they don't. The truth is, if you're only making money because the opportunity is hidden or new, it's probably not defensible. And when the margin disappears, the whole thing collapses. Systems, on the other hand, are designed to survive competition. They create value in a repeatable way. They build infrastructure, reputation, process. Pick one thing in your hustle or business you do repeatedly: client outreach, fulfillment, invoicing, and turn it into a simple system. If you're honest about where you stand, you can start making real progress. Not just money, but leverage. And that's what builds something that lasts. Congratulations. With what you've learned so far, you should hit your first $1 million in no time. But now, there are competitors and you need to find a way to preserve your empire. Most people chase leverage in flashy places. I found it in air filter. The industry was stale, legacy brands selling through wholesale, nobody thinking about e-commerce. But I saw where the world was headed. So I used tech, automation, smart logistics, back-end systems to make a boring product feel modern. The result, a side hustle turned into a $22 million a month business. This quote from Archimedes has stuck with me. Give me a lever long enough and I'll move the world. My lever was technology, and my fulcrum was a forgotten industry. If I were starting today, I'd still go into a boring vertical, but I'd layer in AI faster, not to replace people, but to enhance every part of the process. But here's the catch. AI isn't the edge. Understanding the industry is. You can't disrupt what you don't understand. Deep, on-the-ground knowledge, how things are bought, shipped, reordered. That's what lets you apply tools with precision. Here's what you can do right now. Pick a boring industry and start studying how it actually works. Not from the outside, from the inside. Ask yourself, what are the bottlenecks? What's outdated? Look at how you can apply AI, automation, or software to solve real problems, not just create a prettier UI. The opportunity isn't in inventing something new, it's in modernizing something everyone else forgot about. That's how you create leverage, and that's how you build something that lasts. Once you have a strong business, you need to start investing outside of your business. Oh, and that probably doesn't look like buying real estate. One mistake I see a lot of people make, oftentimes by following well-meaning conventional wisdom, is that they build a business or work a great job and then start treating real estate like some magic solution. But for me, real estate is a second job with a worse return. Instead, I take the profits from Filterbuy and invest into index funds and a small allocation to Bitcoin. It's automated, it's boring, and it works. Because, as Charlie Munger said, the first rule of compounding is to never interrupt it unnecessarily. A system that compounds consistently, one without the other, keeps you stuck. And don't forget, the more you can grow and systematize your business, the more valuable it becomes. That equity is your bonus round. That's the exit juice that can turn active income into generational wealth. You're not just building cash flow, you're building an asset someone else might pay millions for one day. The real game? Use your income engine to buy freedom now and build a legacy later. How can someone without a business replicate this model using a side hustle or W-2 income? Even if you don't have a business, you can use the same model. The key is consistency. Ask yourself, how do I increase my monthly cash flow? How do I automate investing so I don't think about it? You don't need to get rich from your investments. You build wealth by being rich in cash flow and letting that money quietly stack in the background. That's how you stop grinding and start building real leverage. If you want to be wealthy, watch my video on boring and simple income streams that you could start building today.